Hello, this is Mark 2Dog RC. I'm going to show you how to use our Velocidrone sheet so you can bring Velocidrone racing to your local club and worldwide. Stay tuned.
First thing you want to do for your group is assign a track that you're going to run. What we're going to do is assume that you're going to assign a track and then give your pilots X amount of time, some people an hour, or other people give them a day, whatever you want. You tell your pilots how long they have to qualify. You give them the name of the track, they download it, they fly it in Nemesis mode, which is the easiest way to do it. And then what happens is it generates a leaderboard. As you can see here, this is from the TBS EU Spec Series 7 Race 4. Put on by Ollie and Matt up there in the EU. This is a very popular group, so you're going to see there's a ton of pilots on this list, which is okay. If you wanted to use this map for your local group, you can. You're going to have one limit here because there is a limit of the import size, so it might not work good for you if the list is this big. But let's just say this is a track you want to use. You have your pilots grind it. You tell them when you're going to close qualifying or leaderboard bashing, and then you open up the track in Nemesis mode. Come down here to export. There, it's going to save this file if you're on a PC in your documents folder, and if you're on a Mac in the main folder like admin or whatever your default directory is. Alright, and that's all we need to do for Velocidrone. I'm not going to show you how to run a race. That will be a different video. I'm basically in this video going to show you how to use the sheet, the infamous sheet. Alright, so here's the infamous sheet. FMR master sheet. I'll put a link in the video. So what you do is click here, File, make a copy, name it whatever you want, save it to your drive, and that's what you use. You don't ask me permission to edit this because this is my master sheet too, so I don't want people messing with it. So you just hit make a copy and rename that the name of your race, or if you want, make a copy and use that as your master that you always use. So even for me, when I'm running my race, I do File, make a copy. We're going to call this video sheet. Now what it does, it just makes a copy. And there it is. So now I'm going to close this one. So now I'm just using my video sheet. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is you got to get the leaderboard, right? Well, I did add some instructions right here. So if in case you forget, you kind of go back there. It'll get you at least up and running a little bit. First step, see it says backup of this blank sheet. All right, so you click player name right here in the cell. Then you go to File, Import, Upload, select from your computer, and it should be in this Documents folder. See Documents? And it's right here. These 3 _ lap. That's what it's going to be in. So that was the EU Specs race. Grab that one. Let's pull it in. And then in this import file, you want to click this. Replace the data at the selected cell. It's going to replace everything. And hit import. Boom. It's done. So now you've got your pilots, the time, what position on that leaderboard, the model. In case you're running the spec, you can make sure everybody flew the spec quad, what country they're from, and this is all imported. Now what you do is you check in the pilots. We use Discord as the voice chat, and also easy way to check in pilots. If they're in the Discord voice chat, that means they're there, and then what I do is I just put a little check mark here. So I usually close the leaderboard, give myself about 15 minutes to check everybody in and answer any questions. So just for tonight's example, let's say we got, I don't know, I'm going to try and get about 20, I think it was, somewhere around there. So this is kind of neat. I added this part in here because obviously if you're running this sheet and your pilot group isn't in the top 5, it's going to be hard to search and find everybody. So this way it makes it a little bit easier to, you can check what pilots are in or not in. This way not everybody has to be on the sheet. You don't have to delete lines. It makes it really easy. And then I added this little spot here. This tells me how many check marks I have. So I've checked in 25 pilots, and this is something different. Don't worry about this. So right here, total pilots checked in is 25. That's going to work. So that's going to check in your pilots. Now what you need to do is you need to put them in their groups. This is the main race page. So this box right here is for streaming. What you can do with this box is if you just change this drop-down menu, it changes what's displayed in this box. That way when you stream, you can just set the stream this area in this sheet as always showing the current heat. Really cool how he did that. I did not make this sheet, I just edited it. So let me take this out real quick here. So you can move down here, and as you can see here, we've got 25 pilots. Some have check marks next to their name, some don't. If it's red, that means you have a pilot that doesn't have a heat. You need to get them in one. So what you can do is when you click a box, it pulls a pilot. See, this is the A main, so it's going to take the first pilot and put him into this spot. So I usually do like 3 bump ups. So I'm going to take the first 4 pilots and check it. Let me get rid of all these check marks. I usually have them just set like that for as a default, but this sheet's really cool, so you can do a lot of stuff. All right. So if we did the first, we do 3 bump ups, let's just say. We're going to check in 1, 2, 3, 4, and every time you check it in, it's going to pull a pilot. There's another 4, and you'll see here shortly, there's a D main. Okay, see, we're down to megahertz. Now E main, let's see if we can get 7 pilots in there. Oh, we're still got 2 red ones. So we'll go here, and I should pump. Okay, see how here I check mark and nobody pulled in? That means I reached the end of the list. As you can see here, I've got 2 check marks, but they're blank. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So that's how you put the pilots in their groups. Now, let's just say you wanted to do, I don't know, for some reason you wanted to do the top 5 B main pilots bump up to A main. You can just uncheck those. So every empty box or check mark, as you can say here, it's going to pull the first from B main, then the second from B main, third from B main, fourth from B main, and fifth from B main. Whereas here, just 1, 2, and 3 from the C main. So by varying these check marks, you can vary the groups that race. There's no rule anywhere written ever that says it has to be 3 bump ups. There's no rule written anywhere that says it has to be the same. You could do 2 bump ups, you could do 5 bump ups, and you could do 1 bump up.
Then, so that puts all your pilots in the mains. So let's do that. See, get it back to 3, so it's kind of close. Okay, so now our pilots are all in mains. What you do when you run this race is you start at the lowest main. So when you run this, oh, it looks like the F main is our lowest main. There, so F main. So when you start mains, you're going to always start the lowest main and move up. So in this one, you would get these 5 pilots, and you would run as many heats as you want. I like to do odd numbers because it helps eliminate ties, but you can run anywhere from 1 to 7 heats. Now, if you want to run 7 heats, you just add the 7 in there. If you only want to run, for time reasons maybe, you want to run only 3 heats in the lower mains, you can do that. If you want to run 4 heats, knock yourself out. But as long as you're going to run a heat, you want to have a number on the top. Okay, just for simplicity's sake, let's just say we're going to run 2 mains here. And this, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we're going to go 2, 4, 5, 1, 3. Okay, good. So the points for each place is right here. And you can change these if you want. So if you want to do a different points breakdown, knock yourself out, put whatever you want there. Here you're just going to put in what place they finished in the Velocidrone race, 1, 2, whatever you want. And if it goes green, that means you did it right. If you did something wrong, you gave this guy a 1, and see there's 2 1s, turns red, you go, oh crap, go back, fix it. Boom, green. So here, what you see here now is the points are totaled up, and this pilot got first with 18, second was Mosey with 16, third is Adricon with 14, and then 5th and 6th, or 4th and 5th tied. So we see here in the E-main, it pulled the top 3 pilots, go up. Now, the way the ties work in the sheet is whoever did better in the last heat wins the tie. So these 2 pilots were tied, and FPV Cam is going to be ranked higher than Gibson, and you can see that here. FPV Cam in the final finishing order is ranked higher than Gibson. Now, if you're like me and we don't do ties, you want to do a race-off, what we do is we have just those 2 pilots that tied go one-on-one, and they race each other, and then you record the results of whoever won that. An easy way to do that is just make an imaginary heat. This pilot finished first, so leave him a 1. This one finished third, so you leave that third. This one finished second. Now the 4th and 5th, whichever one of these, put him at the higher place. So let's say FPV Cam won, or no, he already had it. Let's say he lost. Now this person got 4th and this person got 5th, and that will give them the proper ranking, as you can see here. That's just if you like to do race-offs. If you don't want to do race-off, just leave the tie, move on. So now that this one's done, if you're streaming, you would come up here, go to the E-main. Now you would run your E-main. Again, you can run as many heats as you want. You just put in what place they finished. And I'm just going to make, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to take all these out. And if you watch this, I'll delete that, and now it shows it's completed. And again, it's going to take your first 3. Now there is a trick in here to be careful. If you've already started and you move one of these boxes, it messes everything up. So that's just something to be careful of. Once you start, it's really hard to move people around except just overriding and typing their name in. On the import tab, one thing to show you here, let's say you had a pilot show up that's super duper fast. We're just going to call him Awesome Sauce. Pilot Awesome Sauce. Alright, they're a super fast pilot. They should be in the A main, and you can put them, you can go look, let's say they're just as fast as, or real close to Singularity. Got a 75.4. So you can come down here, put the pilot name in that just randomly showed up or whatever, and just put 75.4 there for a tie, and then add the little check mark, and now that pilot will be in, when you start running the race, he will be, there's Awesome Sauce. So that just puts him right there. That's a way, if you need to add a pilot, you can just easily do that. This list is organized by the pilot name and time, so it doesn't matter what order they are on this sheet. So basically, just run all your races, boom, 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 and you're done. That's about it. Now, if you wanted to do a 24 pilot bracket, so if you're going to run a bracket race, it's very similar. This sheet will only take top 24. Now, I've also got hidden in here a 36 pilot race. Looks like I need to edit that one as well. But you can run 24 or 36 pilots with 6 pilots in each heat. So let's go back to this 24 pilot race. So what it does is takes the top 24 pilots, puts them in order, and here, as you can see, this one doesn't have a nice little streaming box, unfortunately. But race 1 is going to pull these rankings in. It's very clear what it's doing. So this is the 3rd, 6th, and 11th seed versus 14, 19, 22. And now what you're going to do when you run this race, so you can go 1, you're going to, again, put the place they finished. Okay. Now, this is a chase to ace format. It's something multi-GP uses. So very, very different yet fun way to do it. And the heat is over when somebody wins twice. Not in a row, just they have to have 2 wins. So in this heat, this group in race 1, if Mazak wins again, the race would be over. But what we're going to do is we're going to give Drac FPV the win. And now in this 3rd heat, if Mazak or Drac win, we'll give it to Mazak. The race, this heat is now over. So with 6 pilots, the most races you're going to have is 7, because that means everybody won 1, finally someone won 2. And then what this does is says, see here, top 3 are in orange. They're going to go down to race 6 right here. And then the bottom 3, and the bottom 3 are going to race 5. So that would be your losers bracket. Then here when you go to race 5, once it gets race 2, 4, 5, and 6, if you lose here, you're out. So you also can see a little bit more of what's going on right here as you're going in here. There's the final and there's the final race results. So you can run this however you want, and the 36 bracket is the same thing. So that's roughly how you run a Velocidrone race. Tell the pilots the sheet, or tell the pilots which race you're going to run, which track. Have them qualify it for whatever time you want. Export the leaderboard. Check your pilots in. Either do mains or brackets. And in mains, you need to seed your mains, how many ever you want, with the bump ups, and then run your heats. With brackets, it does all the seeding for you. Just run the race, and then you're done. If you got any questions, my name on Discord is 2DogRC. I'm also in the Velocidrone Facebook group as Mark 2DogRC Growy. If you got any questions, feel free to message me and let me know. Just happy to help out, and hope this video helped.